Hello and welcome to my channel, Redeeming Thunder. My name is Erica and I'm here to give you a fabulous prophetic word, and you really desperately need to hear it all the way through. Yahuwah the Most High is unpacking quite a bit, okay? And he also specifically asked me to put this prophetic word on chapter 28. So this is chapter 28, part 2. This is what he's feeling in this hour. There is a song that's attached to this that Yahuwah downloaded to me, okay, that I have not heard, okay, in a really long time. So it's quite sensual, the song, okay? Yahuwah's not shy. He is not shy. Your Heavenly Father's really trying to bring it home for you, to explain to you how this fabulous romantic ordained spouse union is love story is going to occur to you. It's going to happen to you. It's going to occur. It's going to bring you back to life, basically, it seems like. Okay, so there's some info regarding the counterfeits. There's information. There's regarding the next steps, what's going to happen in your future. There's something that is offered to you, and there's also a key given. So there's quite a bit being unpacked here. You do not want to miss this discovery, okay? So this word was given to me on 5/2/2025. There's a divine alignment and there's an explosion of emotions, okay? And so my friend has been going to her appointments, right? And she has been just chatting away. And there was a conversation about what one would do in the future, like career-wise, as she's wanting to change her career. And the person she was speaking to kind of advised maybe it would be time to start some training, okay? And she left it as that. Then she had a time that she told me that she had interacted with the future ordained spouse, okay? But she kind of has a feeling that that's who it is, but she has not told the person, hey, it's you, okay? That's not the stage yet. Why? Because it's the man that does the chasing, and it's the man that states it first, okay? You don't jump it, okay, and state it first. It has something to do with his bravery and his devotion and worthiness, and the value he puts in his faith in this. So you can't do his part to expedite things. You need to let Yahuwah do what he's going to do, and you do what you're supposed to do. There's some things that you're supposed to do in this hour, and I'll let you know what it is, okay? So it begins, well, in the secret place, okay? As you may be doubting if this is actually going to become a reality, but you're also maybe desperate, okay, for a rescue. Or some of you may be feeling like, I'm fine, I don't need a rescue. Life is fine this way, of just hardly handling things. Okay, well, the motive behind being together is more than just you just having finally real true love. Okay, there is something that you guys do together. There's a mission, And that is why he's putting both of you together. It is not just so you can have true love. Although that is sweet that Yahuwah, the Most High, planned that for you. Okay? It's actually bigger than that, and it's for a divine purpose, a ministry that you guys do together that brings forth more into his kingdom. So it's really mostly all about Yahuwah's plans. And somehow you guys do it together. Okay? Now, while praying in the secret place, I hear Allah Shama, which means to ascend, enter the secret place. So I have disclosed what my friend was going through, these little bits of examples that she was stating, and I asked him, what does this entail? Okay, now he is saying something specific. Yahuwah is doing some breakthrough. Okay, he's saying, now can I say something after I've already disclosed her details? Okay, he says they want to offer her a job. And I'm like, oh, seriously? And then he says, yes, they think that she will be a great fit. So Yahuwah is going to do something where you're already interacting. You're already interacting with your future ordained spouse, the one that you think it is, okay? But he wants more interactions. He wants you basically there as much as possible. So he's going to create open doors for you to be there, okay? And then there was a when my friend was kind of expressing her interest when she was chatting away, she had not mentioned that profession that they were currently doing wherever she's at, okay? She just mentioned something else that she could learn online, okay? And do online. And so that would be a flexible job. That wouldn't be something that has to be full-time. So she'd have, some flexibility in her schedule to add something else. And then he said, Yahuwah says, yes, she does recall that piece that was mentioned. Okay, that was the other detail that I didn't mention earlier. And he said that's fine that it wasn't mentioned that very day. So in other words, you're going to have an opportunity, I'm talking to the women here, to mention some interest, to mention ideas, okay? It's okay that you didn't mention the exact profession that is currently helping you. It's quite all right, okay? There's going to be other opportunities to disclose more details of that. So don't worry. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is they're going to ask you to train with them. So I don't know if it has been, but it's going to. But they've already been inviting you to get involved in their other program. Okay? And it could be because they're asking to see if you'd be interested in that. And you've already said yes, if not already. Okay? If you haven't, it's coming soon. So you go through every open door that's coming towards you in this hour. Okay? Especially if it involves your future ordained spouse. Then, the other thing is, you will begin training with them. It's coming soon when they're going to ask you. Okay? So, that will be your foot in the door. Okay? He is opening. Yahuwah says, I'm opening this door for you. Tell them I'm opening this door for you. So that you can be close to your future ordained spouse. Okay, so then he says, you need to see more of him. Tell her. He needs to see more of you. Tell her, okay? It's a connection that must be. It's bringing you alive. It's breath of life. Okay, So in that sense, I'm recalling it's of the rib, right? So when your ribs are all intact in your body and they're not injured, you definitely feel normal and you feel like you can breathe, okay? But because it's of the rib, it feels like it's difficult to breathe sometimes. He's made it difficult for him to breathe without you being present in his personal space. That was caused that bit of a pain suddenly. Why? Because he's causing the individual to urge him to disclose how he feels about you. If you felt absolutely nothing, no discomfort, you'd never budge. Do you understand? Some people are that timid and nervous about it, okay? All right, so in other words, the ribs help assist the lungs to breathe, right? It can move, it's expanding, it's contracting, expanding, okay? And so it's also breath of life, supernaturally, it's breath of life. It's breathing life into your union. So then you might think, oh my goodness, how did this happen? I don't want to you might think, I don't want to force myself into their life, or like you're almost there, going to be there all the time. They might get tired of you. You might think that, okay? Okay, that's the wrong mindset, first of all. Second of all, this is what Yoa says about that. Now he's talking to the ladies in this hour, okay? In this segment right here. My daughter, I have everything under my control. This door is open for you. Is opening for you. You will train soon and be very good at it. You have healing hands, remember? I have everything. I have control over your destiny. I have control over this universe. I have you in my hands. So then you're like, okay, so I'm pretty much going to be there almost every day then? And he says, pretty much. And then you're going to ask, see, this is why you need to be in a secret place, because he's telling you exactly when this is going to occur, or details of it. Okay? If you are watching the series, you are up to chapter 28. It is appointed times of chapter 28. Okay? For those that are just jumping in to the channel, no worries. Just start from the beginning. Okay? If you feel led to watch a certain video that's not the first chapters, go ahead and watch it because it was trying to tell you something. Okay? All right. So, he's going to tell you that it's midrich. And you've never heard of that word before, which means, in Hebrew, it means guide. It serves as teacher's assistant. You cannot even make this up. This is just so phenomenal. Okay? It's basically develops social and leadership skills, expanding the Jewish knowledge. So maybe while you are in the session training, you are also sharing your knowledge of your journey of becoming Jewish. Okay? But I feel strongly that it's more so that the word in Hebrew of receiving a guide and or leader that teaches you of their skills. That's how I initially saw it. Okay. So during this time, Yahuwah is putting you through a bit of a turmoil. I'm sorry to say. He's kind of squeezing you thin, okay? And he's kind of basically opening your eyes to what needs to be. So he's going to be doing that because he needs you at a certain mentality. Because right now, the holdup has not been any more hiccups of, let's say, witchcraft. Okay, right now in this chapter it's kind of explaining that you've been not wanting to dethrone with the counterfeit. You may be with someone in this hour. You may be single, widowed, but wanting someone and already have a list of people on the dating sites that you were looking at, and or just people you've encountered at your church that maybe you thought could be the one. And so you've been kind of thinking, maybe you've been also just suffering with the individual that is with you in the moment, okay? As in, there's been some lack of affection and punishment so it's basically punished isolation, or feeling that your love language is being reciprocated, okay? Because that person that you're with, the counterfeit, is not going to do it. I'm sorry to say, okay? But they're not going to, and someone in heaven, which is the Almighty, is not allowing it to. So you feel like it's just this stubborn person, this stubborn man that's just doesn't have good ideas, okay? Logic. But really, someone above is actually causing that person not to grasp that logic. Not to grasp the loving care that you needed. The comfort. The understanding. You guys are speaking a different language, in other words. You're speaking English, let's say. But it's a different... He's not understanding your words, and you're not understanding his. He's saying stuff that maybe sounds dumb to you, or a lack of emotional intelligence, or could be something along the lines of just not topics that you would talk about or want to talk about, but Yahuwah is doing it on purpose because it's not equally yoked, okay? It's counterfeit. When you speak with your future ordained spouse, it's going to make sense. You guys are going to be in tune, and Yahuwah already said it was going to be synchronized, okay? He did it on purpose. He's causing that to occur so that you can let go of what is not anymore. All right, so let's continue. And so now, again, on 5/3, so originally received that word on 5/2, 2025. Now I dive deeper on 5/3, 2025. It's 1:25 a.m. And he says, get your journal or phone. I have something to say. Then he says, Ayin Soma, which means divine alignment, breath of life. Because he knows you've been cringing in despair sometimes, feeling alone. So he's blowing breath of life back into you, who's been breaking your heart probably. Okay? Hallelujah for that. He's looking out for you. Okay. Then he says, while praying in the spirit, Ayin Lesha Lasa. Okay? Now this is where it starts to get incredibly interesting. Okay? It gets all the more extraordinaire. Going forward from this point on, you cannot click off. So, if you're watching this, probably watch it a double time, and or put your headset on so that you can really hear if you're listening to it in the car or something and the wind is blowing and you can't really hear every detail. You got to hear every detail right now. Okay, this is pivotal. Okay, this means divine alignment. The eye of Yahuwah is upon the matter. A place of hot springs, literally. Okay, and then the next word means breakthrough. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so Abba, Father, is taking you to a place of breakthrough. Boiling point. Literally so boiling point that he's giving an example of hot springs. You know, the water's boiling and people dive and they dip in with the boiling mineral water, and it's very soothing and healing. Okay, so basically what he's doing here is he's pushing this union forward and together It's getting kind of hot and heavy. It's getting romantic. In other words, there's no other way of saying it. It's going to start getting romantic. If it wasn't, he's putting in a breakthrough. Okay. Now the word lesha is in a lexicon. Strong's concordance is 3962. So if you want to look that up, it's Lesha with apostrophe. It's from a root word that means breakthrough, a boiling point, a boiling spring. Lesha, a place probably east of the Jordan. Lasha. So basically, when it states that, I kind of think that maybe, those are in the promised land already, or getting close to the promised land. Okay. Because they crossed the Jordan in order to get to the promised land. Joshua and the group. Okay. So, now I want to continue on. A verse here, Genesis 10:19, and the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. Okay, so Ellicott's commentary for English readers. The boundaries given are Sidon in the north, Gerar and Gaza in the southwest, and thence to the Dead Sea. The only Lasha known is a place famous for its hot springs on the east of the Red Sea. Though the Phoenicians may have occupied this town on their way to Palestine, it could not have been one of their boundaries, so that it is probably some place destroyed in the convulsion which overthrew the cities of the plain. We must not notice also there that while Sidon is Aradus and Hamath were considerably above it, it is probable therefore that both of the Arvadite and the Hamathite were still wandering tribes without settlements when this table was drawn up. Okay, so the map, I guess. Okay, now the next word, Lasa, excuse me. You know what that means? Delighted or gaped at, stared with open mouth. Basically a wow factor, an overwhelming wonder, a physical or mental motion toward a behavior, effort, and purpose, intense, gaping, and blind to everything else. Basically only eyes for you. You're going to be like a wow, she's amazing, she's beautiful and wonderful. He's going to make you probably, a bit shy, because he's going to be staring at you to like galore. Immense, intensified. Yahuwah is going to put you on this like starstruck. He's going to be starstruck. That's all I'm going to say. I can't say it. I can't I know it sounds like exaggeration, but that's what it's going to be like, okay? He's only going to have eyes for you. It's making it. Yahuwah is really enforcing this thing along now, okay? And now why I'm saying the word enforce is because the next word that goes with Lasa to explain that word is given, the word is given cattle prod. Okay? What is cattle prod in the Bible? Ecclesiastes 12:11 says, the words of the wise are like goads, their collected sayings like firmly embedded nails given by one shepherd. A goad is a cattle prod, a sharp metal object on a handle used to keep cattle moving. Basically, it looks like an electrical surge. It's a stick, and it has a little piece of metal at the end, and I'm sure it zaps. Okay? I'm sure that's what it's for. As soon as the cattle is poked with the prod, it like sends a little electrifying surge through, and there's like a nudge. So now it's there's some nudges happening, okay, and it's truly nudging your future ordained spouse to do what he's got to do, and nudging you. Okay, you're not excluded from this. He's nudging you too. Okay. And then the next word attached to the lasa word is lamed, which means learning and teaching, which encompasses both learning and teaching that highlight the importance of education and acquisition of knowledge in the Jewish tradition. It's compared to the shepherd's staff, symbolizing guidance, direction, and authority. This connects the idea of leading others towards wisdom and knowledge. 1 second. Okay. So this word is attached to be gaped at, to be delighted in. Etymology, the particle le or to or towards. Okay. To delight in or gape at. Okay, so okay, it's getting kind of intense over here with everybody wanting my attention. This is a really important word, okay? 1 second, 1 second. Okay, so let's continue on. I'm continuing to pray in the spirit, okay? Yahuwah says, Aliyah Samas Masi. It means to ascend. Journey out. Prophetic word to listen and obey. A messenger. He's sending a messenger. Okay. Aliyah Sama Masi Kaya. That means to journey, to ascend on a platform. So basically your ministry is going to be expanding. For those that have a prophetic voice. Okay? Have a ministry. Have a business. Whatever the case may be, it's going to be expanding. You're going to be front and center. Okay? And then also says you're going to be ascending. Meanwhile, it also means they use this word in Jewish culture, literally ascending to Israel, becoming an Israelite, becoming Jewish. So that's the other segment here. He wants you to make it official. You know, he wants you to at least he sees you as an Israelite. He sees you as a Jew. That means you're one of his tribe. That is a very extreme compliment. Okay? And Sama means to hear, to listen, and obey. You don't just hear and listen to what this prophetic word is saying. You come into an agreement with, so you obey his word. And then you obeying because you understand why it's being said. Okay? He's putting these details in the fashion that you are going to be able to understand it. So he's speaking to a certain group of you. Okay? And even the song that he's giving is going to resonate with you. And you're going to understand very clearly what it's entailing. Okay? This is not the song. This is just background music. There's a different song that I'm talking about. He's talking to you. If you were sent to watch this video, he's literally talking to you. Okay? You didn't cross this by accident. Nothing is by accident. Okay? Now, it may be that you're trying to avoid it, but it's not by accident. If you want to not listen, you know, there's some consequences with that. Watch the prophetic words of the series and you'll see what I mean. But I'm not sure why you would do that to yourself. He's not going to pick someone that's ugly and unattractive and rude to you. It's going to be all the more the best match ever. So please listen on. Okay, so here, to listen and obey, to understand. That's what it means, the word sama. Then the next word is masi, which means a messenger or anointed one. And kaya means to be in praise and thanksgiving as of right now. Already. Already be singing praises. Already be grateful for this union that's going to take place. Already. Okay, because a lot of this has a lot to do with believing. Believing that's going to happen for you. Okay? And the way you're believing is because you're already being thankful for it. So that means you already believed in it. Right? Okay. And as for the mustard seed faith, I do want you to do mustard seed faith. And if you've ever seen a mustard seed, it's a very tiny seed, right? Okay, but that's not what it means. The mustard seed gets planted in the ground. It doesn't mean, give me your tiniest little pebble of faith. No. It actually, this plant is quite invasive. You plant one seed and it spreads everywhere. It takes over the entire garden. It's got to have its own pot. Okay? Because it really takes over everywhere. So in other words, your faith was so great and grand like this plant that it expanded forth and it took over everything. That's how much faith you need to have in this. Not mustard seed faith, a tiny little kernel. But as an invasive plant that takes over. Like, you know, like the peppermint plant takes over. Kind of like that. It just takes over. That's how much faith you need to have. Okay? You want big miracles? You got to have big faith. So the next phrase is Aliyah Sala Shala Casa Sabimosa. Okay, here it starts to get nitty gritty. Okay? Details. Now, Aliyah stands for front and center. You're on the podium. You're the one stating the Torah. That's what it means. They pick specific people to share. I got a little brain freeze right now. Not because I don't know what to say. I thought about something. I do have a lisp. Okay, I noticed that, and sometimes I kind of like spit a little bit, I guess, when I talk. So I got a little bit distracted. I just thought of it, how these words they're giving me a lot of lisp vibes here. And so if you're like kind of worried that you have a lisp or something, and you're going to be front and center disclosing the prophetic word and or the Torah, just being front and center, preaching, maybe, I don't know, giving presentations, don't worry about your lisp. Okay? You got this. All right, so now I want to break it down to you. Front, stage, center. Journey is another journey. It's a ministry. Okay? You're on a journey to igniting this ministry. All right, and then, so if you don't have a ministry yet, get in the secret place, because in this process, many of you are Esthers and Ruths on this Future Ordained Spouse series, and you do have something that you work on together. And sometimes he has you start it before you guys are joined together. You don't start it when you are finally together. It's already started. Okay? It's begun. And it also means to ascend. Now the word sala means to be weighed in balance. To lift up, to exalt, to cast up. Conveys the action of weighing something on a balance, by extension, assigning high value or esteem to that object. So yes, you are being tested in this hour. No, it was Tuesday. So next Tuesday in the month of June. Okay. So then what's going on is he is weighing you in the balance to see if you're going to obey this calling. And you're like, but so this calling is like being a wife to this man? Yes. That's exactly the fact. You're going to obey to that level. Yes. Okay. So that strong Hebrew number is 5537. Now, the next word was Shalah, right? In Hebrew, the name Shalah primarily signifies peaceful or tranquil. Okay? It is associated with the concepts of quietness and prosperity, stemming from the root Shalah, which can be to be at rest or to prosper. You know why it's talking about that? It references many scriptures of those noticing that the enemy is advancing and or pursuing you, and it feels like it's never ending, and that it feels like maybe Yahuwah doesn't notice. And he's saying to be at rest, to be at peace, that he has noticed, and it is his turn to forgive them. It's not about you forgiving, because you have to do that already. It's if he's going to forgive them or not. Okay? So that's what it's saying. Just prosper. Focus on looking straight on your path. Don't look to the sides. You can't, choose battles, because you can't, if you spend all your life, every battle, some things can simmer to the side and you don't have to fix in that very moment. Okay? Okay, so then the other thing is, the name Shalah can also be linked to the concept of taking away or removing. Basically, in the context of soul's departure, yes, he's causing a scatter. The counterfeits are going to be scattered. And some of them are not going to be living anymore. Okay? If you were a chosen one and they were making your life tumultuous, they were not supposed to do that. Okay? That will cause for there will be no connection in the communication, but he didn't say, I'm allowing them to treat you bad. Okay? He didn't say that. Also, did they follow the commandments? Did they follow, because at one point or another, it could have been that they were chosen to be the ordained spouse. But it could have been that they did not follow the will of the Father. Okay? They did not. They chose their own way. They chose to have their own idols. And that's the main reason why Yahuwah is causing that, even to that level of judgment, is soul's departure. So, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place. You need to be in that mindset of, oh no, I should stay with that person and maybe they'll change. No. That time, that was given already. And they were supposed to do it from before. But they didn't. Okay? That time has gone and went. I'm sorry to say that. But it, the mentions of time are coming, okay? And that chapter has already been. Everybody's been given that opportunity. It's not like nobody gave them equal opportunity that you were given. No. Everybody was given the equal opportunity. They didn't take it. And maybe they decided to be warlocks or witches. And when I'm talking about warlocks or witches, I'm talking about maybe literally, okay? But I'm also talking about gossip, slander, domineering. Jezebel spirit is also a witch, okay? Manipulative, seductive, okay? Doing the love bombing, okay? Doing things, controlling, okay? Domineering. Basically, the one that did not do the fruits of the Spirit. Okay? Did not repair the foundation. Okay? Did not walk in the spirit of truth, the spirit of in salvation. Okay? They did not take his his guidance seriously. Okay, the ministry maybe even given the idea of it, and they did not partake in the action of it. Okay, so Yahuwah already had a whole different plan, and if you watch the other chapters that I have been putting on this channel, you'll understand. Okay, so that was just a little bit of a summary, but I have to continue on with this word. I can't give a whole summary of all the words in every single video. I just have to focus on what is, and that's why I'm asking you to watch the other ones in order, so that way you can understand. Okay? And he doesn't want you in turmoil and in despair and in heartbreak, and a lot of you are going to experience that. You're going to feel that, and that's why he's taking you on this journey. And that's why earlier on in this Revelations here, he was stating, you have been feeling that heartache, wanting them to choose you, to choose the Most High, and it just ain't happening. It isn't happening. Okay? And so this is not a situation where the prodigal returns. This is a situation where you're with the counterfeit. Okay? This is not a situation where the prodigal spouse returns. This is a situation where you're with a counterfeit, or you've been waiting on counterfeits to be the man. And you're needing to not, so that way you can be ready for the future ordained spouse. Okay? So that you need to be, from right now, be in peace and prosper. Right now, be in full trust. How do you do it? Watch the Future Ordained Spouse series. Watch those videos. It's soothing because there's something to look forward to. Cry. Give your tears to the Most High, who's going to repair your heart. And be all in for what's to come. Because whether you like it or not, it's still coming. Okay? So, now I want to continue on breaking down with this phrase, Aliyah Salah Shalak Gasi Sabi Mosa. Okay? So now we're on the next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like.
Okay, so now Casa, okay, that word stands for to cover something either physically or metaphorically. There's different conjugations, okay, and that means to cover or conceal. Passive form would be meaning to be covered. Intensive form would mean to cover or clothe. Okay, and so he's covering you with his feathers in this hour. And he is the ones that are following his will. All right? And he is concealing your union, protecting it. Your future ordained union. Obviously, the enemy doesn't want you to be. He wants you to have a mentality like, I'm good. I don't need a man. Exactly, you're saying, I don't need a man. That's feminist talk mentality. You're not ready. Okay? Because in this series, we are learning that we do need our man. Okay? You do need his protection and comfort. That's what Yahuwah sends Yahusha, his son, to be like our husband, and he is our protection and comfort. So we need to be comfortable accepting Yahusha like that, in that need, in order for us to then be him to be ready to then deliver a messenger to send someone, which is your future ordained spouse, who is of comfort and protection. Okay? Don't be like, oh, well, my kids, they'll get older and they'll protect me and they'll comfort me. No, this is a different type of comfort. This is a different type of protection. Okay? I'm not sure why he so readily needs. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Okay? But he's just elaborating so much of a protection. So we're in end times. So let's just understand that he knows more than we know. He knows the future. We just know the present. And we know the past. He knows the future. Prophetic voices, prophetic word, prophetesses, they know the future. Even though I received some information regarding the future, I don't know all of the future. I get little bits and pieces, okay? So just know that if he's saying you need this, receive. In the name of Yahusha, receive your future ordained spouse. And be all in. Okay, so now let's continue. The next word is sabi. The word sabi stands for, in Hebrew, it stands for serenity and tranquility that come with age or intellectual maturity. In other words, you've reached a certain level of maturity, intellectual maturity, where nothing really phases you. You're able to be serene and tranquil in the time of adversity. That means you are mature for this particular relationship, that maybe that individual also has these qualities. Okay, that's what's putting you two together. And maybe the counterfeit does not have those qualities. Okay, and we're not going to get them. All right, so Mosa stands for denoting a place, agent, or act of going out, meaning to go out. Okay, so it also has a root word in the Abraham Publications Biblical Dictionary of Yasa. So Mosa goes with Yasa. And it describes a divergent motion to go out or go forth. So at one point or another, there was a plan. But now there's a divergent motion. Okay? It also means offspring or produce. It also means to denote a place, agent, or act of going out. A going forth, an utterance, and source or spring of water. A place of departure, a mind. It also used for the word sunrise, latrine, and that's all I got right there. So on that note, he knows that you have been contemplating this, and now that you are all in. You know why? Because after receiving that word, this is what came next. This is what he said. Alas, you have desired what I want for you. So you have an act of going out of your own mindset into his. Okay? He's noticed a change in you. Okay, so then the next phrase that Ruach HaKodesh downloads to me is Osi. He says that 2 times. Osi, Osi. When I research what that word means, it means divinely ruled by Adonai. You are allowing the Most High to rule over you. You are of a living sacrifice to him. So you're saying, do what you want with my life. If you're saying that I have to be with another, I am all in. You may not understand all of the reasons why, but you're all in. Okay? There's a treasure. Okay? That needs to be received. I'm not sure why I wrote wealth treasure, but it could also mean that. Also, it does mean, in the Yoruba culture, Osi means wealth and treasure. So he's saying there's like some kind of inheritance or treasure being given when you two unite. Okay? There's going to be a reward. Alright, this is not the first time he said it. There's been several times in other prophetic word of the Ordained Spouse Series. Okay. So, So you have to get to the point, he says, to this breaking point, okay? So that you may not want what's no longer for you. Sadly. Isn't that sad that sometimes Yahuwah has to have those break your heart in order for you to finally let go? It couldn't have just been where you just chose with all the good advice given. You had to wait until it was so heartbreaking. Okay, well, for some of you, it's going to be like that. I'm so sorry. And your body's going to ache. Your fingers may ache. Your heart, your stomach may ache. Okay? Okay, then all of a sudden, there's sub-days is coming into play. In other words, I'd be studying, gathering a bunch of information on this word, and then suddenly I feel sleepy. Well, obviously, it's when I started receiving this word, it was already 1:25 in the morning. Okay, so I'm gonna be sleepy, but I was very engaged, and it would be something along the lines of falling asleep only for 2 seconds. So that's when I call it the sub-days. So this is significant here. You need to hear this. It has to do with your future ordained spouse. Suddenly, I hear, and I wake up instantly because it's so unusual. It's so unique, the phrase. And I'm like, what in the world does that mean? Okay? And I heard it in my ear, and I'm like, what? Who said that? And I wake up 2 seconds later, okay? I don't stay sleeping for 30 minutes and take a cat nap for 2 hours. No, it's not anything like that. Even though it's around 1:30 in the morning. Okay, so in the sub-days, it said, and she fed the cats to the dog. And I'm like, what in the world does that mean? Okay, so when I researched what this phrase, she fed the cats to the dog, it's a figurative expression, not literal, okay? It means someone is being mean or unkind, often by blaming or sacrificing someone else to avoid blame or harm themselves. It's a way of saying someone is sacrificing someone else's interest or well-being for their own benefit. Okay, so it also okay, so it also means a harsh and desperate act. This could symbolize a situation where someone resorted to an extreme or unfavorable measures due to desperation or lack of other options. For example, a person might say they fed the cats to the dog, imply they were forced to make a difficult and perhaps unsavory choice. Okay. Sacrificing something to appease someone or achieve a goal in a metaphorical sense. The phrase could represent a situation where someone sacrificed something they value, represented by the cats, to satisfy or appease something more powerful or demanding, represented by the dog. This could be related to power dynamics or negotiation where one side concedes something to the other. A warning or sign of danger or betrayal. Some interpretations of animal symbolism in dreams or literal suggest that feeding animals can represent concerns about responsibility or providing support to others, but also potentially signal betrayal or disappointment from those you're trying to help. Okay, so a difficult or drastic situation where something is sacrificed or taken advantage of. Okay. So, now I'm going to continue. In that sense, I want to talk a little bit more about that, but I think it's occurring. It's something regarding the counterfeits. So the counterfeit woman. Okay, because it's saying she fed the cats to the dog. So your future ordained spouses, if they're with someone in the moment, or they had their hopes up for someone else, not you, because they're not sure what to do, okay, and not take the plunge yet, okay. Let's say because they're nervous and they're thinking it's a difficult task, and so they're going with an easier option. It's not been so easy though for their counterfeit in this moment in time. It's stating basically they're feeling quite some bit of hardships as well. Okay. Just like we were stating about the counterfeits and on your receiving end. Okay. So now, again, I fall into the sub days for a couple seconds, and it says, use it, leap it. I gave you an instrument. Okay. And then you're like, huh, what is that about? What instrument are they talking about? The only instrument I can think of is the cattle prod. Remember? So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's talking about the staff of authority. You guys have the staff of authority that can proclaim these into existence and over your life. This union, okay, with the will of the Father, is in divine alignment, so he is going to do it for you. So he's saying use it. Use the instrument he gave you. Okay? Okay. Now, Yahuwah is giving some insights regarding when my friend had her session with the individual. In other words, when I'm saying session, that means just interaction, okay? And he kind of did some kind of physical connection, okay? And she was wondering what that was about, and she wanted me to ask the Most High what that was about. And so then he was trying, and Yahuwah says he was trying to see if you're comfortable with his embrace, okay? At that level. Like, it would be longer than a 1 to 2 second embrace, touch, any kind of. Remember in the past prophetic words it was talking about physical touch was going to come into play? Okay. And I'm not saying, it was not romantic in that sense. It was maybe you brush your hand against his when you're trying to grab a pencil or a pen. You're going through the hallways and you accidentally brush his shoulder as you're trying to squeeze through a room. Okay, everything's sort of accidental at this point. But to this moment, she's explaining, she felt it was more intentional that day. And it was like seeing what Yahuwah thought of that. Okay, and so that's why Yahuwah was explaining. Yes, it was intentional, and it was trying to prepare her for what's to come. Okay? Alright, so then in the sub days again, all of a sudden I hear, get a toothbrush in the house. So then when I put into literal typing it in, what does it mean for to get a toothbrush in the house, okay? In a relationship context. Why am I doing relationship context? Because this is the Ordained Spouse Series downloads. Okay, so I'm staying in tune with what Yahuwah may be trying to tell us in this hour. He's saying, leaving a toothbrush at someone's house signifies a more serious connection and a desire for a shared future. It indicates a commitment, a sense of stability, a belief that the relationship is progressing positively. It's a relationship milestone. It is often as a tangible symbol of relationship evolving into something more meaningful. The act of sharing a toothbrush. Well, obviously, I'm not saying share a toothbrush. I think it meant more so you got an additional toothbrush. In other words, put in your mind that you're in the future, very near future, you're going to be needing to buy a new toothbrush for that individual. Why? Because you're going to get married to this individual. And they're going to be in the same house as you. Like, get it to that point. Like, think of that person in that type of way. That um, there's some bonding. There's a step up. There's a milestone that's occurring in this in this um, relationship that's evolving. Okay, I'm not saying you're inviting him to the house already, and there's a toothbrush already. Okay, I'm not saying to that level, but like already mentally prepare, and maybe even physically do it, because in the past chapters he's already said start planning your wedding. Like literally put it on paper, write it down. He even told you where he wants you to get married in the other chapters I've sent you. Write those details down. Put them in your phone. Put it in your notes file. Okay? Start looking at venues. I'm not joking. This is literally going to happen for you. He just wants you to be all in and literally prepared, because, like, for real. Okay, so leaving a toothbrush at someone's place can be seen as a way of expressing vulnerability and a deeper commitment to their relationship. So, not in the sense of sharing a toothbrush. I know many people don't like to do that. Okay, I'm not saying share. Get your own toothbrush. But like, you're being vulnerable, and you're going deeper into conversations. Okay, when you are in interacting with the individual. Okay, so then all of a sudden I hear leveling up. Just randomly, I just hear in my spirit, leveling up. What does that mean? It means taking your relationship to the next level. Oh my gosh, confirmation after confirmation. Okay? That it is a milestone is occurring in the spirit and now on earth. And now it means the concept of leveling up means moving to the next stage of your relationship with someone. By leveling up your commitment, you can build a deeper connection and stronger bond. Okay, now Yahuwah is stating something that you really need to hear. Suddenly he just says, how well you can tolerate. It was a phase. Touch, feel, touch, feel. That was chapters before. Okay? And I'm saying maybe he's helping you with something. You guys are having to build something on your job, and he's your trainer. You guys are, bumping into each other at the grocery store. Maybe he works there. Okay? And he's helping you with something. I don't know. Maybe it's, for my friend here, she's going to having some therapy sessions, and he's the therapist. So obviously he needs to show her how to do things correctly. Maybe you're at a gym and he's your personal trainer and he's helping you. So this touch, feel, showing you how to embrace your core, etc., etc. Okay? Kind of like that. So he's saying, touch, feel. His embrace is coming next. So now there's a key that's given. I summon you to call him his fondness, his fondness. Okay, so what does fond of him mean? Fond of him means to be like or have a liking for someone, often implying a greater affection or fondness than just liking him. It can range from enjoying their company to feeling a sense of love or adoration. To fond of him means a positive emotional connection, indicating that you find him pleasant and likable. It suggests a deeper level of fondness than just liking. Okay, so he's basically saying you need to move past the I like him, he's cute, he's handsome stage. And literally he's summoning you to it's okay that you start loving him. Okay? And you know what? I find this very endearing of the Most High, Adonai, Abba Father, to really break it down. Because some of you are so obedient, and you will not date, and you will not pursue, and you will not receive the pursuing of anybody if the Most High did not tell you to. That he literally has to tell you, it's okay to think he's handsome. It's okay. to enjoy his company. It's okay that he touches you here and there, taps you on the shoulder. It's okay to receive that gesture. It's okay to laugh at his jokes. It's okay to like him. But now he's saying it's okay to be fond of him. So basically, now he's saying it's okay that you're starting to love him. Because you guys are so obedient, and you won't start even allowing yourself to love anyone if the Most High did not tell you to do so. Okay? But right now he is saying, it's okay. I want you to. I'm actually summoning you to. Okay, so now. So you basically have very strong feelings. It's okay to have for the individual. It can range from enjoying their company to feeling a sense of love, okay? You adore. To fondle, okay, now that. To handle or touch lovingly, affectionately, or tenderly caress, to fondle a precious object such as stroke, pat, pet, snuggle, cuddle. That was in dictionary.com. Merriam-Webster states that the word fondle means to caress, to touch, or handle in a tender, loving manner, such as when you pet a cat, okay? Let's give an example. In the Collins Dictionary, it means, the word fondle means someone or something you touch them gently with a stroking movement, usually in a sexual way. Okay. So, I don't know about the sexual way, right away now, but that's giving the definition. But it's kind of giving you an example of love is in the air. Okay? Now, again, I fall asleep. And in the sub days, I hear, what color? What color? What color? And all of a sudden, I fall asleep again, and I hear trophy. And then I'm like, what are they talking about? And it dawns on me. He's talking about your wedding ring. Because that would be sort of like a trophy, right? Symbolism. And so he's telling you to tell the individual in a casual conversation what color of gold you prefer. Yellow gold, rose gold, or white gold. Okay? Yes, even to that level. Okay, so then I'm still studying I'm gathering more information for this word, okay? And I'm putting on sub days all over again. And then in 2 seconds, for only 2 seconds, and I hear, hey, that fondness is coming. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And I knew it was for this particular prophetic word because this is the page I was working on. So I typed that up. Okay, then it says, okay, then in the sub days, he says, just because I'm passionate on YouTube. I'm not sure what that means. It could be the songs that are being downloaded in these videos. Your future ordained spouse is also watching the Ordained Spouse Series shows, videos on channels because they are aware of you, okay? Then the sub days, it says to talk to him, call him. And I'm pretty sure he's not talking about on the phone because your future ordained spouse is supposed to initiate that. So he's literally saying, like, out loud, just wherever you are, just call his name. He's going to be able to hear you. He's going to feel this tug in his heart. Why? Because you guys are being synchronized. Okay? And it's saying, in the sub days, call him in nature, please. He's all entangled in the same. Okay, when it says reading up on entanglement, it can lead to a profound sense of connection between individuals. When people are emotionally entangled, they often share their innermost thoughts, feelings, vulnerabilities without fear and judgment. So you're going to say his name, and you're going to say, be entangled with me, your fondness, your closeness, your fondness. Be entangled with me. Okay? And then it says, I am Soma. divine alignment, breath of Yahuwah. And so then in the moment, again in the sub days, and Yahuwah and Ruach HaKodesh says, just got conceived a moment ago. And you will feel a sense of euphoria and ecstasy. Okay? There is something being conceived in the spirit, soul, and will. Okay? And the song that Yahuwah gives, if you ever watch the video, kind of looks a bit interesting. Okay? But they give like a little fairyland type of vibes in that video, and it kind of just reminded me of a worldly type of ecstasy and euphoria, but in all the same, you will feel a internal, when you are all in soul and will of the Father's will, you will feel this ecstasy, euphoria. Okay? So then he says, Allah Sama. Okay? Which means to ascend, go into the secret place. And I hear this song. Okay? Excuse me. I didn't hear the song yet. I heard a phrase that Yahuwah said. He says, come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. I don't know if you guys ever heard that song. I haven't heard that song in such a long time. Okay? But this is what he says next. That is what he's feeling in this moment. And you're going to be like, okay, now I need to hear the song. So then, here's the song.
Come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Such a sexy, pretty little thing. This April bitch, you got me sprung with your tongue ring. And I ain't gonna lie, cause your loving gets me high. So to keep you by my side, there's nothing that I won't try. Butterflies in her eyes and her looks to kill. Time is passing, I'm asking, could this be real? Cause I can't sleep, I can't hold still. The only thing I really know is she got sex appeal. I can feel, too much is never enough. You always there to lift me up when these times get rough. I was lost, now I'm found. Ever since you've been around, you're the woman that I want, so I'm putting it down. Come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come my lady, you're my pretty baby, I'll make your legs shake, you'll make me go crazy.